I ended my cross-examination on the cell phone device that was last recorded at Fosloras 4 minutes past 5, and on the 27th of October, if not the 29th of October. That cell phone was for the first time after the 26th of October re-registered on the towers of Fosloras. Is that correct?
This one was the next Kuruma. Umakalokupi lapha usetshenziswa eduze say Fosloras on 1704 bayagcina kubona iphinde register ngomhla 29 October yebo kunjani.
The question that I want to pose now is, this cell phone, if it was not in Fosloras on the day Mngomezulu was killed, and this cell phone is associated with accused number 3, or is registered in the name of accused number 3, who else do you think might have been in possession of that phone without accused number 3?
Please, my lord, do you object to that question? We submit that the witness is being asked to speculate. The speculation of no assistance to the court. In any case, that is not something that falls within his knowledge. We submit that it's an unfair question.
Yes, Mr. Mngomezulu.
My lord, I submit with due respect that I asked this question with the full knowledge that this cell phone was registered in the name of accused number 3.
But your question, oh well.
May I rephrase it, my lord?
Okay, fine. All right.
May I rephrase it with due respect? Mr. Host, let me take you back again on your examination in chief. You confirmed that this number belongs to accused number 3, correct?
That's according to my knowledge, yes.
Uthe makhalekhukhwini lo ukamsola wesithathu wathi yebo ngolwazilona.
And according to your evidence, this cell phone, you said it communicated with accused number 5, correct?
That's correct, my lord.
Wathi lolu cilo tells khulume no number 5 wathi yebo.
And if we are talking about accused number 3, we are talking about Mr. Mngomezulu. Do you agree?
That's correct.
Wathi umsola wesithathu bamnqoba wathi yebo.
Do you know him here in court? Do you see him here in court?
1, 2, 3. Must be the one in the middle. I don't know. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. That's correct.
Wathi hayi kufanele kuyilo ophakathi nendawo la enkantolo.
And accused number 5 is the last one on the row.
Wathi umsola wesihlanu kuyilo osegcineni.
So we talk about the people that we can see, correct?
That's correct.
Wathi khuluma labantu ababona wathi yebo.
And with your evidence saying accused number 3 and number 5, when you were taken by the prosecution or by my colleague in respect of the 3 transactions that registered on the 26th of October, you mentioned only 3 transactions on the 26th of October. Can you recall that?
That's correct.
Wathi yakhumbula yini ukuthi sikhulume ngama-transaction amathathu ngomhla 26 October wathi yebo.
And you are the analyst of this data, correct?
That's correct.
Wathi yena uhlaziya le data wathi yebo.
What actually made you, because I believe when you did this analysis, you went through all the transactions in the 205, correct? You started from page 1 up to the last page, correct?
But umhlaziya wakwaqala ekhasini lokuqala wazofika kulokugcina unjalo.
Just one thing. Are we looking at number 27727668169?
That's correct, yes.
I never said only 3 entries. That was for accused 2 that we were talking about yesterday, my lord. That three calls were for accused 2. I never said how many entries were made on the 26th for accused 5.
No, I'll correct you, Mr. Post. I don't like the court to agree with you if we haven't agreed on that. I'll take you on the records. I've even highlighted, you only talked about the communication between accused number 3 and number 5 on the 26th of October 2014.
My lord, according to my records, there was only one call on the 26th of October. All the other calls were previous, after. That's why when I started in evidence, or when I started with this statement, there's all the calls that was made. It's on my statement, my lord.
Bathe ingcingo esuke umsolo wesithathu kuya umsolo wesihlanu umhla ka-26 ku-October kube ucingo olulodwa.
I just misplaced my way I actually wrote those. You even specify about times of their communication. There were 3.
That was with accused 2 when I was crossed by, or I was in chief with Advocate Baloy. That was for accused for, I think it was 1739. There was 3 calls made after he was arrested. That's the 3 calls that we're talking about. I never said that this,
okay.
On this page.
No, it's fine. I'll just turn it down. I'll come back to it. But the purpose for asking this question is not primarily what I'm asking you. Let's proceed. My question is, when you were given this document,
Yes,
you had to go through all of it.
that's correct, Mama.
Uthi uma usunikwa u-exhibit GG ukuthi uhlaziye wayehlaziya yonke wathi yebo.
Now, during evidence in chief, sorry, let me say this. What made you, I know you were led by my colleague Mr. Baloy, but your evidence related mainly to the communication between accused number 3 and number 5, correct?
No, my lord. My evidence, if I can read my statement, I was asked by the investigation officer, Brigadier Ganinga, to see if there's any communication. Let me just get my exhibit PD5C, paragraph 6. The intention and scope of this analysis and the request from the investigation officer was to determine the following. If there were any communication between 2777668169 and other accused in this matter before this court. And the only numbers I picked up was that of accused number 5. No other numbers were communicating with that number during that period of the section 205. Only accused number 5.
Wathi uma uhlaziya le document leyo kubheke ukukhulumisana phakathi komsolo wesithathu nowesihlanu wathi cha mina nginikwe-ke umsebenzi ubrigadier Genel ukuthi ngihlaziye ukuthi kukhona yini ukukhuluma phakathi kuka-0727661869 nabanye abasolo abakhona la enkantolo. Yaphendula ukuthi cha engikubonile umsolo wesihlanu.
My question is that the number 072-766-8169, it appeared from the first page of the data that we're analyzing.
That's
Correct?
That's correct, my lord.
But number ke leyo 072 766 8169 ivele kusuka ekhasini lokuqala TF.
To know the reasons, if not a reason, why the records of the number 072-766-8169 were not placed on record in your examination in chief, starting from page 10, proceeding to page 13. Do you know?
Don't
Yes, my
understand.
lord. I don't think there's something that this witness can answer. In any case, we
For example, my lord, when we're dealing with the AVL evidence of debris, the state omitted deliberately the incident that happened at engine garage. This evidence that was titled yesterday, beginning from page 10, 11, 12, and 13, the state realized that it was an own goal in their case. NesiZulu bathi bayigwaze ngowabo umkhondo. May I proceed, my lord?
As a court, please, I don't know what the basis of my colleague's submission is. Fact of the matter is he's representing accused number 1, and he's straddling the lines by cross-examining on behalf of the
Number
other
2.
accused. If he can maybe just stick to his lane, that would assist.
So the concern of the defense, we have agreed with Mr. Mnisi. There are reasons why I have to deal with this evidence. Secondly, these 5 accused are charged with common purpose to commit an offense. Anything that is said, because my colleague forgets that there are only 2 confessions here. Confession for accused number 1 and for accused number 2. Anything that is in that confession that touches accused number 3, 4, and 5, I have a fiduciary duty to cross-examine this witness based on that doctrine of common
No, let's
purpose.
just understand that. You remember you talked about section 319, is it?
219.
Sorry, 219, to
Yes.
say the evidence which is adduced by a confession through either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct.
It's not applicable to 2, 3, 4, 5.
Correct.
Right, now you are saying you are cross-examining because of the common purpose doctrine.
Yes. That's what it's one of the charges.
Right, fine. And if what you are cross-examining on impinges in the confession, which attaches or which relates to the other accused who are not involved in that confession, you are saying I should allow you to cross-examine thereof. You are right, but the point is, if you do that, then it's a reflection on your client. Are you
I'm aware of that.
Are you aware of it?
I'm aware, madam.
Fine.
May I just clarify this, madam, before I proceed?
Yeah, fine.
This witness relates to the communication between these 5 accused.
Yes, yes.
Where does that emanate from? It emanates from the contents of the confession. And in relation to the contents of the communication, I wish to remind the court that there's evidence that Kelly Kumalo communicated with accused number 3. That's the purpose of getting into number 3 for the confession that has been made by accused 1 and 2. That's the reason it deals with communication. So I want to prove to this witness that there was no communication between Kelly Kumalo and accused number 3 in anticipating in the commission of the said offenses, my lord. That's the relevance of it deals with communication.
All right.
Can't comment on that, my lord.
Yeah.
But on what is related to communication, I want you to show the court, because I've got the records here. Can you please take this number from me? Can you please take these 2 numbers from me? 082 082
Yes.
7044
Yes.
358.
Yes.
The second number 072
Yes.
938
Yes.
24
Yes.
98.
Yes.
Those are numbers for Kelly Kumalo. Those 2 numbers are for Kelly Kumalo. And I have an affidavit made by Kelly Kumalo to say those were the numbers that she was using on the day Senzo was killed. I'm just putting a background. So now, to draw your attention or to employ your skill as a data analyst, I'm putting to you that there was no communication between Kelly Kumalo and accused number 3. Looking at those numbers and on the event of the 26th of October, you'll find no communication between accused number 3 and Kelly Kumalo. Unless you want me to give you an opportunity to go through that. Specifically on the 26th, because that was the day in which the state alleges that, according to the confession, Kelly Kumalo communicated with accused number 3.
Twalezi number 0827044358 ne 072 938 2498. I numbers ga Kelly Kumalo futhi ke ukhona lapho ephathisa khona yaPet David ukuthi lezi I number esenzisa ngalilanga senzo Khulumalo usenzo meyiwa kulawa ngalo. Manje ukuthi ke akukho ndawo la khombisa khona ukuthi uKelly Kumalo nomsolo wes3 bakhuluma ngomhla ka26 njengoba ke umshushisi esho. Kuthiwa uthini ngalokho?
A lot is 337 pages. It's not just a press of the button. So
We can suspend it, we can stand it down. You'll have an opportunity to go through those numbers, if the court so pleases. Can we proceed?
yes,
Or
you can
you-
proceed.
My lord, can I stand down that question for the witness to go through the 205s to check
Find
these
out
2
if there's
numbers?
communication between Kelly
Court.
Kumalo and number 3.
Number 3, my lord.
Is that okay? Colonel
Let me just,
House.
that's correct, my lord. Let me just check. So I go quickly with.
But as I recall the evidence, Kelly Kumalo had about what, 5 numbers or 6 numbers?
Sorry, my lord, to ask, I have no
No, I mean,
recollection.
that's the evidence. Sorry, Mr. Maloi, you recall how many numbers did Miss Kelly Kumalo have?
Yes, indeed, that is stated in the affidavit of stay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the number of the cell phones that she had.
Yeah, she had about 5 or 6.
Yes.
And further, my lord, it has been stated in that affidavit of Brigadier Kininda, A227, that Kelly Kumalo had 4 cell phones, of cell phone numbers. But now, what is of importance the logic and the reasons to have the section 205. May I just establish from the witness? Say, when you were approached by Brigadier Gininda, you said somewhere in September last year, 7 months ago, correct?
Wathi-ke Brigadier Gininda wakuthinda uSeptember kulo nyaka odlule wathi yebo.
When he asked you to do the analysis on the basis that Mr. Steyn is on retirement, did he tell you that there were section 205s that were taken from the people that were in the house where Senzo was killed? Did he tell you?
No, my lord, when I started with this case, I didn't do the cell phone and the 205. I was doing the downloading of the 2 cell phones of accused 2 and accused 5. Later, during the course of the trial, it was requested for the section 205 to be produced, that we have given to the council, and then I started with a section 205 on the accused. That's why that statement came in later. That was it was an additional statement, DD5-2 and DD5-3. So my original my original was just for the 2 cell phones that was downloaded to do analysis on that, not on a section 205. So that it came later. So I don't know anything about any section 205. Other people that was in the house, I have no record about that.
Wathi ekuqaleni kwalo msebenzi lona nganginikwe inombolo ezimbili kaMsolo wesihlanu umhlelo wesibili kuphela ukuthi nje ngikhiphe ulwazi olukhona la ngaphakathi kula mafoni. Manje ke uthi ke emva kwaloko ke ilapho ke ngacela khona ukuthi ngisenze no section 205. Usho ukuthi lama ama section 205 anginalwazi ngawo.
I've just checked the exhibits relating to Colonel Steyn, exhibit 01.
01.
Yes, it shows that Ms. Kelly Khumalo had 8 cell phones.
8 cell phones,
Yes.
yeah, that's the point. Mrs. Kelly Khumalo had 8 cell phones. Fine.
8 cell phones.
Yeah, so when you ask this witness about the communications regarding Kelly Khumalo, it must correlate with 8 cell phones.
I differ
which
with
are-
the Lordship.
according to the state.
I
Ms.
differ,
Kelly
my Lord,
Khumalo had.
I differ with the court.
With the court.
Yes, I differ with what the court is saying, that I must correlate with 8 cell phones.
No, but look, it's common sense. If I have 8 cell phones,
My Lord, section 205 does not require common sense.
what does it require?
It requires scrutiny on what was registered on the as a database.
Fine,
But now, what may I submit
Yeah,
by,
fine.
by saying this?
Yeah.
We'll keep on speculating about the number of cell phones.
Is it a speculation? Wait, Mr. Mngomezulu. Mr. Banoi, is it speculation that Kelly Khumalo had 6 or whatever cell phones?
Well, that's according to the evidence and the affidavit of
Steyn.
Steyn. I've just quoted
How many cell phones? Just
exhibits.
let's recite those 8 cell phones numbers if there are. Oh, my daughter.
Well, on page
Page-
3 of Colonel Steyn's affidavit, exhibit 01,
Yeah.
she stated the following. She says, the following extraction out of XDS to trace the following numbers of Kelly Khumalo. Then she mentions them.
And he mentions how many numbers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So that's not speculation, Mr.
That's the
Mngomezulu.
reason. My Lord, may I just put it this way?
Yeah,
Maybe
fine.
the court will understand me. a document. May I hand over this document to Mr. Stein? I'll show you. I'm not That's the letter that was written by Captain Teto to the TSU for the 205s.
Yes.
And with that letter she mentioned the numbers that are listed there for the people that were in the house.
Yes.
From that letter, if needs be, I'll make copies for the court and for everyone. In that letter, the numbers that I gave you, the two numbers that I gave you for Kelly Kuman, they also appear in that letter. Do you agree?
Athi kule ncwadi ke ebhalwe Captain Mthetho ayiya ku TSU ngama 205 uyabika ke lapho ukuthi kwakune ziphi number ezosetshenziswa abantu abalibe lapha endlini. Yavuma yini ukuthi lezi number ikunikeza zona sikhona lapho?
That's correct. The two numbers, that's correct.
Athi yebo lezi number embili sikhona.
And according to that letter, there were only two cell phones that Captain Mthetho mentioned of the cell phones that were taken from people that were in the house. He mentioned Tumelo, Madlala, Longwe Twala, Mthokozisi, Twala, Madlala, Zandi Kumalo, and I think it's mother of Kelly Kumalo as well.
There's 8 numbers, 9 numbers.
Nine numbers.
That's correct.
Including Senzo.
Including Sinjo, that's correct. All right.
Athi ke number ke lezi ezathathwa amaphoyisa ngaleso sikhathi kuyeka Tumelo Madlala, Ekalongwe, Twala, Ekazandi Kumalo, Mama Zandi Kumalo, Zazisheka Lulunyi numbers athathelwa.
Yes, if you peruse that, the second page or the third page, I would say the attachment to those are the 205s, the extracts of the 205 for Kelly Kuman, for both numbers, correct?
It's one page, my lord. I can't do anything on a one-page extraction.
No, I'm saying it's an extract. I've got the full 205.
I understand, but I don't have the 205 with me, my lord, so I can see, I can't do analysis on an extraction or even if I have the document, yes, maybe I can see what I can do,
No,
but
but
not on the extraction of 2 pages. It's
I
not a
wanted
full
to-
document.
We only have one page.
One page of one number and one page of the other number, my lord.
Okay.
Ngine page elilodwa la nenye number nelinye page la lenye number ngeke ngikwazi ukuhlayiseka ngalama page. Mfana mathole wonke ama page.
the purpose was not to analyze those documents, was to confirm the contents of what was in that covering letter for Captain Mthetho. That was the purpose, not to analyze. May I have that document back? The reason why I'm asking this question, Brigadier Kininda, the investigating officer, did not tell you that there was a 205 done on the in 2014 regarding people that were in the house. The relevance of this is based on the communication between accused number 3 and Kelly Kumar.
Brigadier Kininza ke njengoba kuwumseshi azange kutshele ukuthi ke kokhona ama 205 enzwa kubantu abalapho endlini na.
Now, I'm going back to my question. You analyzed, you saw that there is the numbers 072, 07668169 from the beginning of the first page.
athi uhlazile kubona ukuthi ikhona le number 0727668169 kusukela ekhasini lokuqala.
If you were not taken on cross-examination yesterday, this information would not have been before this honorable court. Do you agree?
Imbuzo izolo kusho ukuthi le konke lokhu bekuzobe kungekho phambi kwenkantolo.
Which information is Mr. Mngomezulu referring to?
My lord, my colleague is not listening to me. He's not listening, but with due respect for the decorum of this court, I'll repeat. I referred you to Exhibit GG, where I asked you whether did you go through that Section 205 document data from page 1 up to the last page. You said yes.
That's correct, my lord.
Athi masibuyela lapha kweexhibit nje bambuza ukuthi ndiyonke yini amakhasi lapha kusukela kweqalo izofika igcina ngathi yebo.
And I asked you about, or I cross-examined you yesterday from page 10, 11, 12, and 13 about the records of cell phone 0727668169.
That's correct.
Athi izolo ngikubuze kusukela ekhasi leshumi kuyofika ekhasini leshumi nantathu mayelana ke nayo le phone u-0727668169. Athi
My
yebo.
question is simple. If I did not ask you about the transactions that are in those pages, this court might have not have knowledge of those transactions without being placed on records by you.
So, God, please, my lord, we have presented that evidence. It's on record. How can now Mr. Mngomezulu says if he didn't ask, we are aware of those calls, and that's why we put them before court. And it cannot be us of this witness that if he did not cross-examine on that, the information would not have surfaced. But it's before court, and we place it before court.
My lord, that's not true. It's not true. That's not true. Mr. Valoy must be honest to this court. That's not true. I said, just stand down that question, the first question I asked you, where you only dealt with 3 transactions on the 26th. That's what I asked you. I'll come back to that question after. I need to consult my notes. I misplaced my notes.
My lord, sorry, there was 3 transactions. 2610, 14, 13, 49, 49. 2610, 2014, 15, 19, 32. And 2610, 18, 31. To accused 5, number 27723995787.
Manje kukhona ke kathathu lapho kube khona ukuxhumana phakathi kwale number 0727668169 nenumber ke kamsolo wesihlanu 0723995787 ngomhla 26 zonke kusukela ngesikhathi ka 1349 49 1359 13 15, 19, 32, no 18, 31, 16.
You see, Mr. Host, I listen and I write notes.
100%, my lord. I was just looking at the other dates, so 100%. I understand, my lord.
Now, I just want us to get into the purpose of your evidence in this court as a data analyst. The main, or let me not put it as the main object or objective of your testimony in general terms as a data analyst. But what does it seek to achieve when you present such evidence in court as an expert?
My lord, I was asked to see if there was communication between the police 3 and other suspects, and that's what I did to see if there was communication. That's all. That was my scope of my analysis.
Umsebenzi engithunywe ukuthi ngwenza ukuthi ngihlaziye ukuthi kwakukhona yini ukuxhumana phakathi umsolwa wesithathu nabanye abakhona la enkantolo. Wona kuphela umsebenzi engicele wona.
It's not something I made up. It was requested by me by the investigation.
Akuyona izinto into engangizenzele yinto ke engangicela ukuthi ngiyenze.
Yes. So you've done as you were requested, and you gave evidence, and surely in your evidence you stated that there was a communication between accused number 3 and number 5.
That's correct.
Ushiloke ukuthi ke njengoba ucele ukuthi uhlaziye ushelo ukuthi bekukhona ukuxhumana phakathi komsolwa wesithathu nomsolwa wesihlanu wathi yebo kunjalo.
And one of amongst my colleagues, either Advocate Mngomezulu, Advocate Mngomezulu or Advocate Mshololo, put it to you that accused number 3 and number 5 knew each other before the incident of the 24th of
100% my lord.
Kubuziwe ke lana abanye abameli umnisi nomnqumalo noma umshololo ukuthi bekukhona ukwazana komsolwa wesithathu nabanye lesi sigameko singakenzeki wathi yekubonakala kanjani.
So is it your evidence today that the cell number of accused number 1, the 079-379-0137, cannot be linked with that own number, so with that number 072-766-8169?
For the period 23 October 2014 to 25 January 2015, that's a section 205 I have in front of me. For the other periods, I can't say, my lord.
Kusho ukuthi ke kule number ke lena u079 579-0137 no 0762-766-8169 bengekho ukuxhumana sithi ke kusukela ngo-October 2014 kuya kuJanuary 2015 lokho ebengaphawula ngako kodwa ke kwezinye ikhathi anginama 205 angeke ngikwazi ukuphawula ngalo.
But I'll just put it as a fact to be proven that there was no accused number 1 and number 3 did not know each other on the 26th of October 2014, on the day Senzo was killed.
Ngibeka ukuthi umsolwa oqala nomsolwa wesithathu babengazani ngaphambili kwamhla 26 October ngelanga uSenzo wabulala ngalo.
Neither there was such a communication between accused number 1 and accused number 3 on that day.
But futhi akukho ukuxhumana phakathi kamsolwa oqala nomsolwa wesithathu ngalelo langa.
Noted, my lord. Can't comment on it.
Akukho engakuphawula ngalokho.
Now, if this purpose of giving this evidence is demonstrated by you from the request of the lead investigator, Mr. Brigadier Kininda, I'm putting it to you now as a matter of a proven fact that accused number 2, being the owner and the possessor, lawful possessor of the cell phone 072 766 8169, was not in Vosloorus on the day Senzo was killed.
I can't comment on it, my lord. I haven't got the section 205 for that number, so I can't comment on that statement, my lord.
Umsolwa wesibili umnini wale phone lo 0727668169 wayengekho frustrate ngelanga usenzo mewabulala abulala ngalo kushuthi ke wathi hayi anginayo section 205 ya le phone futhi ngeke ngikwazi ukuphawula ngalo.
I was meaning accused number 1 and number 3. I beg your pardon.
Bengikhuluma ngomsala uhlolo lokuqala nosithathu. Olen.
I think we already dealt with that. Cell phone was in that area. I can't comment if the person was there, as was stated yesterday. And the accused one, I haven't got his section 205 for the period for that 2014, my lord.
But hayi engakusho nje ukuthi ifoni yakhombisa ukuthi yayilapho ukuthi kwakuyena owayephethe angeke ngikwazi ukuphawula ngaloko isection 205 kamsolo uqala yona anginayo angikwazi ukuphawula.
Sorry. May I approach my from the court?
As it is the court. I got a bit lost. There was something that I was quickly checking on my notes here. On the last session that my colleague Mr. Mngomezulu put to the witness, when he said that he put it as a matter of fact.
Please, says what?
When I'm trying to recall, as I'm saying, something that was distracting me on the notes here. But then I heard him saying that he put it as a matter of fact that on the day of the incident, accused number 3 was never at Force Lowers.
Yeah.
In terms of the record, in terms of the cell phone data, as it is the court, my lord, may I just request a very moment to have a word with my colleague?
Yeah, okay, you want to consult with Mr. Mngomezulu concerning the fact whether number 3 was actually at Force Lowers or not.
I will bring that information, and I think for now it's privileged, it's classified information.
What do you mean it's here? That's why I know it.
Excuse me, madam.
That's why I know it.
No, I say for now, what me and Mr. Mngomezulu are going to discuss is privilege.
Oh, fine, yeah, fine.
Yes.
So you want to ask to adjourn?
Just for 5 minutes, madam, yes.
Okay, then 5 minutes.